Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into Butcher's Canyon, a dungeon that's as deadly as it is exciting. If you're ready to face off against orcs and the fiery boss, Duke Magna, this guide will help you conquer it all. Let's get into it. Throughout Butcher's Canyon, you'll run into orc butchers and orc key administrators. These larger orcs will melee the tank and occasionally jump, creating a nasty AoE. Jump when you see them to leap to avoid the damage. The orc key administrators, though, are key, literally. When you take them down, they drop a bag with a key inside. You'll need this key to activate elevators or bridges as you progress. So after the first fight, grab the key and use it to operate the elevator once your group is ready to head into the dungeon proper. Next up, we have some tank and spank mobs like the orc fighters and torch-bearing fighters. Nothing too tricky here, just hold aggro and burn them down. For the orc spearmasters, watch out for their charge attack, but otherwise they're also standard mobs to handle. Now the orc hunters are where things get interesting. They're ranged and can pull nearby packs in if you're not careful. Unless you have a shape changer in the group, you want to focus these archers down first to avoid fighting extra enemies. Speaking of shape changers, these are the most dangerous mobs in the dungeon and your top priority. They fire ranged magic attacks and will turn players into sheep. Once you're sheeped, an icon starts filling over your head, and when it maxes out, you die. To avoid that, stand near another player so the debuff can be transferred, resetting the timer. Once you kill the shape changer, it'll leave behind a blue circle. The sheep player should immediately run into that circle to dispel the debuff. Orc Shadowmancers are another mob you'll encounter. These guys tether themselves to another mob, making them both immune to damage. The trick is to stun or hard CC the Shadowmancer, allowing you to kill both enemies. If you've got knockback abilities in your group, this dungeon is great for using them on bridges. In most cases, mobs knocked off will fall to their deaths, making for a quicker, more satisfying run. Now we're moving into Miniboss territory. The Orc Shadow Elder is accompanied by torchbearers, but here's the deal, ignore the torchbearers and go straight for the Miniboss. During the fight, he'll summon more torchbearers and shape changers. Keep focusing on the Miniboss and handle the shape changers as usual. If you down the Miniboss first and any shape changer is still alive, they'll despawn without leaving a circle for dispelling the sheep. In that case, just let the sheeped player die and respawn in the same room. No big deal. After the mini-boss, you'll come to an altar with 2 shadow orcs and some patrolling mobs. Take down the patrollers first, then focus on the shadow orcs. Again, stun the Shadowmancers to break their immunity, but this time, since there are 2, coordinate with your group to stun both simultaneously. Watch out for sections of the altar that are lit up with fire. If you get caught in these, they'll bind you and deal fire damage over time. Crossing the final bridge to the boss room. You'll face a mix of every type of mob you've encountered so far, except for the shape changers. Use all the techniques you've picked up, handle the Shadowmancers with stuns, and knock enemies off the bridge whenever possible. And now the final challenge, Duke Magna. This boss has a few key mechanics you'll want to watch out for. First, he'll raise his axe for a line attack. Just be sure to tank him facing away from the group. He'll also unleash a Fury AoE attack that everyone needs to block. His first big mechanic will pull everyone in and bind the tank, so be prepared. The rest of the group should spread out and avoid standing in the center. Duke Magna will also turn the tank into a sheep, and you'll need to pass that debuff around like we discussed earlier, but this time avoiding the binding fire on the ground. At least one player should focus on damaging a shape changer next to one of the red altars, and the sheep player should get passed toward that same shape changer. This way you can cleanse the debuff with the blue circle. Watch out for a soft red glow across the center of the room. That's a signal for a high damage AoE attack. Do not go back in during this phase or you're likely to be toast. After the AoE, Duke Magna will kneel down, giving your group a brief window to pile on the damage. He'll repeat his axe and AoE attacks, but things get trickier as the fight goes on. Eventually, he'll stomp the ground for an AoE similar to the Orc Butchers. Jump early to avoid it. Finally, his last mechanic will pull everyone into the center, finding a random player. The rest of the team needs to interact with the 2 red altars to free the player. Once both altars are activated, the bound player can escape before the high damage AoE finishes them off. Stay sharp, dodge the AoEs, and remember, the longer this fight goes on, the more the room will be engulfed in fire during the altar phases. And there you have it. Follow these strategies and Duke Magna will be nothing more than a memory. If you found this guide helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe for more Throne and Liberty content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in Silesium.